Hello, my name is Selvin Rajwari. I am a developer at Games, and today I'm going to showcase you a fragment system which I've created. Just a quick overview of the system. So I have fragments of a crossbow. So when I pick up the crossbow elements, and after I pick up the last element, I spawn in the crossbow in my hand and shoot. Yeah. So the system I have created is a modular system and a high performance gameplay system. So in the character component I have created a actor component called a C fragment collection. This fragment collection on initialize it updates the item based on a data asset a data table. In this data table you can define which item to spawn when we collected all the elements or fragments. So in this case, crossbow case, we have shaft, handle, skull and string. I have also created one more, which is the holy cross, and it just has a one element. So when we collect that element, we spawn in the blueprint. So back to the component tab. So as you can see, as we can interact with this component, so on the blueprint, the character blueprint, we have an interact component. It checks with the blueprint interface and it interacts with the component. On interaction, the BP pickup item. So all interact function, we check if it has the interface implemented. So on interface implemented, we collect the fragment, which in this case has a skeletal mesh and a static mesh and a fragment ID. This fragment ID should be the same as the DT items. So in this case it is shaft. So once it will send those data, it will send these data to back to the player character, and once we identify it's not holy cross, so the fragment collector, we add the fragment to the fragment collection. So on adding the fragment, so the flow is we interact with it. It sends out a blueprint interface call. It is picked up by the third person character, and once it picks up, we add the fragment. So we have several arrays to check whether the fragment we have is already a complete item or we have already collected or not. So it checks the item first. If it's already collected, then it is just returns true. If it's not collected, then we add that element to the array. We update the UI to this delegate, and we check if the item if all the fragments are completed or not. So in this case, we go in. So we have a array called available items. Is of type ST item. The ST item has several names. Required fragment, which is populated by the data items, this list on which I showed you on begin and play. So this one. So on begin and play, we add those available items, and then so back to the check for the completed items. So we got an item called shaft, right now, so it will check if it contains the if we have completed the item or not. So in this case we didn't have completed the item, so it will loop through the fragment IDs of that element. It will check if we have collected the fragment ID. In this case we have collected, so it will send out one signal. So we only have one item collected, right? So it will break the operation. Once we have collected all the items like 1, 2, 3, 4, then it will perform true. This boolean will become true. So on completed, we go through here, we have completed all the fragments, we add the item name to the array, and we spawn that item. In this case, in this project we have only weapons, so the weapons are spawn. We spawn the weapon and we attach it to the character via socket, and this is the weapon interface. So we are not dig into that, so we will focus on the fragment collection. So it will attach to the component, and after we attach to the component we update the UI. So this UI will be completed over here. So on begin play, we on construct, we have certain images right over here. We update it over when we are receiving the items. So these items will be received, we get the player reference, and once we got the player, we bind it to the delegates we have over here. So on fragment collected and on item completed. So on fragment collected, so we have, let's say we have an item called shaft. So shaft is collected, we update the images, so only the shaft image will appear over here. So we update the images and we'll play the animation. And once we have completed all the items, it will fire out this delegate. So it will play the animation just the same. We update the UI, and the same goes for everything. And the collected items are stored, so we don't have any duplicates. And if we want the duplicates, we can just configure them via the data table. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I'll showcase the system again. So we play the level, we interact with the component, we update the UI on interact, it will play some sounds. On the last item collected, it will spawn the item. In this case we have the crossbow. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.